Vince Ryder here, and welcome to my review during this very rainy season. I'm so sick of the rain. Why? California is never this rainy, ever. But now it just has to be pouring. Like it's like the coldest, it's raining, it's turning to the apocalypse. The apocalypse is coming. Anyways, yeah, this is my review of Rwby Chapter 3 of Volume 9. Gotta keep that direct. And yeah, it's the chess game. If there's one thing I'm into, is tabletop, especially ones that I have no idea what's going on. But just looking at it, and I'm talking about tabletop, not from a digital sense where I'm watching a video of anyone playing tabletop. I'm talking about the real thing. If I go to any anime or gaming convention, usually I would be at the tabletop side because I just like seeing different board games. Whenever I go to Barnes and Nobles, I always like to look at different board games that they have and stuff like that. So this is kind of something that interests me, even though it's totally against the rules of it because it's basically just a full-on battle of Ruby and and his team Ruby going up against the egg prince or whatever this freaking little kid is. Like I swear I knew that I wasn't going to like the little egg prince. I call him the egg prince, the crimson prince or whatever. And I kind of was a little critical knowing that especially skeptical or critical whatever of how they're going to portray this little crimson prince of being an evil person basically, or just maybe just being a kid and not knowing better or something like that. And it seems like they kind of did okay job. I don't know much of it because then again, these reviews are not analyzation, therefore I will not analyze, but I look for it the way it is or for what it is. The world of the Crimson area, I think it's called. I just call it the Crimson Lands. Is pretty. It's pretty nice. It's very fluent and also by its nature of like, usually for the Alice in Wonderland stories, like they usually have that at the end. Like I thought we are gonna see this whole kingdom at the end or whatever, but no, we see it pretty much right here, right now, as we're witnessing it in its formal beauty of like the whole lands and pretty much the castle. And yeah, I kind of wish I had a little bit in depth of seeing what it is or more what it is, but it's the inside that actually brought in this whole kind of visceral effect to it, especially how they enter in the battlefield or play the game, basically the start of the game where every one of them, like I like how the guards are just very choreographic with their movements. And what I meant by that is that they are in sync in a way where they're fluent, but none of them, all of them are just like in different positions. Like I feel like for many plays and many scenes like this kind of goes a long way for like how you see the movement of like all of them in a unit, and especially in a unit where they all like start the game and they slam their weapons down to for the start of the game. And it's just this beautiful thing, especially how when Ruby, like I knew that the whole concept of the board game was going to be coming in a way where it's so magical and just very very intense and very just like high climax, at least to me, because I kind of find it in a way they presented it like it's like the royal final battle or something. And I kind of like that about how they presented the board game, especially for the Crimson Prince just being interested when Ruby came up to him like, we can play a game. And the Crimson Prince was like, a game, you say? Like there's definitely reference to that. If I guess if I had my knowledge down when it comes down to the ever after historics, or knowing a bit more of Alice in the Wonderland, I probably might actually understand a bit more of what that means or what that actually portray as, because it definitely shows how that much means to him, and therefore it means, I guess, a lot to the writers and the directors of how they put that all together into this one battle scene where it was just epic. It was everything. And of course, now that everyone of them had their own battles, like I really like Blake and Weiss, their routine of, and especially that down attack with Yang of with that final blow was effective. This is one of those scenes where it's like the most hypest and action kind of catered scenes where I'm like, yo, this is it. This is what I wanted. Okay, this is what makes Ruby somewhat of their highlights of, and you can tell that they really progress of just having these different, even though it's not really the craziest, it's something that really showcase that their skills and everything really progressed of what they're doing with this scene. And maybe that's just me praising the battle scenes and praising the presentation, because overall the whole presentation of this whole entire episode is kind of like portrayed in that not only like I guess the chase scenes or something like Ruby getting away, like the whole scenes between the Crimson Prince and Ruby was just the best. Okay, and then we get to the kitty, which I don't know, I'm not familiar with the cat. They call it the curious cat. I thought the whole time I thought it was called the Cheshire Cats, even though that's like a somewhat harder name to actually really call it that. But the Cheshire or the Curious Cat helping these, other Team Rubies where most of them are now in short size because thanks to the Crimson Prince actually making that happen. And also another thing about the Crimson Prince or the lands, the Crimson lands of that kingdom, they actually showed this brutal scene of one of them actually, the main ones that showcased their or basically gave him the sword. And I knew that was something that he was gonna throw away, even though the kid didn't know that this sword belongs to a hero. And that's another thing I want to really put out there is that I forgot to mention I about how that sword is from Penny. I did not know. And this is going to be a continuing routine where I set up reviews like right away because I want to get them out of the way because of my timing and also the time schedule I have for making these videos is kind of unfortunate. That I probably might make a video of that, even though it might be in a freaking terrible timing. But I did not know that that sword was from Penny. Like I could have so much emotion and better review of talking about that sword, but I missed that shot because I do care about Penny. It's the same thing when my family members, comes and I visit them and they did, they sort of like I think I know them or I saw them like in their Instagram story times or Facebook or whatever, and they went to, like, for example, this is just an example, they went to the Oprah show and basically I forgot that they went to the Oprah show. I was like, yo, I didn't know you were there. I don't really care much about the Oprah show. I'm just making an example. But you know what I mean. It's the same thing with family, same thing with like if I saw like this particular scene from this movie or that movie, I just didn't realize it was there. Okay. I didn't realize it. I didn't realize I didn't see you, Steve, at the groceries. I'm sorry for ignoring you. I was too busy trying to hurry up, getting my rotisserie chicken just to get up out of there because the rain was coming. Okay. But this whole scene itself, like from showing especially how Crimson treated the sword and stuff, like I thought it was gonna bring some sort of anger through Ruby. Ruby is truly tested through this episode. Like I guess her feelings was not enough, but also it seems like Ruby and I find this interesting throughout the whole episodes itself and the other episodes that Ruby needs more hope than ever just to save her friends, to save the ones that she loves. And that's going to be very important for later on, especially when we get to Neo. Oh my goodness. I really expect a bit more when we were introduced to Neo. And that's one thing that I was so excited about this review and stuff to talk about is that Neo is, listen, it's one of my favorite characters as well, despite her being bad, a, a villain, basically. I don't know why my tongue actually rejected to say that word, but a villain and pretty much a person that I really do want to know more. And I'm hoping that this volume really goes into that, goes into more of like, you know, understanding who Neo is as a person and who she is, of just like having these aspects of like who she is and what she was in the past. And I think I remember saying that last time I talked about Ruby, but this could be a moment where we could actually see more of that, see a bit more of that of like who like Neo and who she is. And it just seems like that could have been the ultimate opportunity, shot to face to Neo, of like that music coming in where, the ones like I forget what it's called, but it's basically Neo's main song. It's like a dark tone song or something like that. And we were introduced to her once again, like as she was coming from the skies, we saw that monster thing looking for, like wondering where that sound came from, because I guess the monster so happens to be there. And now we just this there was a scene of Penny, I mean not Penny, sorry, of Neo uh having multiple Neos surrounding herself. And it's like this could be a new power itself for Neo of what she has, like, as her advantage. For the whole time of this episode, I thought Neo was gonna show up being working with the Crimson Prince to fight against Team Ruby in the board game, on the chessboards, because I thought that was the main part where we're gonna see Neo, like, like when Crimson Prince is about to lose because he's losing. I thought he was gonna pull a wild card, like, I have a special weapon to defeat all of you, and boom, pulls out Penny. Like, that could have been it. That could have been something that would happen, and I would be like, oh my goodness, you had to pull that. You know what I mean? Like, it would be the kind of like ultimate wild card where I'm just so high. It could have been the ultimate surprise. But of course, it just has to come through this one. And even though this was maybe a surprise, maybe this was a shower drop of just like Neo coming in, as a meteorite and coming in through you know, the scene, and then we have to wait for the other episode to come in because now it's like a cliffhanger. Like, yeah, that's okay too, but at the same time, would have been cooler. And this is just me with every other review that I have ever reviewed ever, whether it shows, video games, and all that stuff. It's like I talk about, like, oh, this could have been advantage, this could have been cooler, this could have been something, okay, and that's just me. But yeah, for this episode itself, they did a good job. It's okay. I didn't really. I noticed that I didn't dive in a lot to the whole Chasir cat that wanted to talk about, but I guess I didn't really care much to, because it's just like, okay, well, this character is gonna help us. I guess we're gonna see more next episode. But also, what's up with Little? Like, sleeping every minute, every damn hour. How tired are you? Is this hibernation moment right now? Is this what's happening? This mouse sleeps like almost all the time. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm a sleepyhead. Okay, I take naps like, 2 hours every every dawn of the day sometimes. Okay, every day I do that pretty much during like 4 p.m. or whatever. That's kind of like an everyday routine for me. But I don't freaking sleep every damn hour or every minute, like, because this mouse really sleeps. Do mouses or rats or whatever, like, do they really sleep a lot? Like, it's crazy. But my goodness, yeah, how they really put this episode out there. Listen, you know what? Other people have like better ways to really portray of what they see through this particular chapter or something, and I kind of like it. It's not bad, And also, from seeing the Crimson Prince, it's almost like it's trying to be a reflection of seeing who Weiss was, because even Weiss saw the Crimson Prince was like, was I like that when I was that obnoxious, And it made me real like it made me think, like, what was Weiss like when she was a kid? I don't know if I saw that anywhere at all, but I was always wondering, like, what was she like when she was a kid? I always am curious about that. I don't know. Yeah. Other, than that, this is a good time. I'll see you when I see ya. This is my Rwby review. Hope you enjoy it, and other than that, one love and peace.